So I wanted to make this video for those of you who are going to be applying to physical therapy schools in the near future. And I wanted to share with you the two most important tips that I wish I would have known. Um, so that first tip is to apply to your schools as early as possible. As soon as that PT-CAS cycle opens, you should be busting out that application and get it submitted as soon as you can, preferably within 2 weeks or so. And I know there's a ton to do, so you may have to plan ahead of time, get those references done before the cycle opens, um, and bust it out and get it done. And I say this because many PT schools accept students on a rolling admissions basis. So this is really first come, first serve. The first students that apply are the first ones that get their applications looked at. If you wait until, October or later, they may already have their whole upcoming class selected already, regardless of when their deadline is. So it took me 3 years to get accepted into a program. My first 2 years, I applied in October because the earliest deadlines were around October, and some of the later deadlines were, January, February of the following year. So even for the schools who had those later deadlines, um, even though I applied in October, I still didn't get interviews or, probably didn't get the time of day because they already had their classes selected. Now, my third year applying, I applied, I think, like 2 weeks after the cycle opened, like I just said, and I applied to 10 to 12 schools all 3 years that I applied. But the third year I applied, I got accepted into a program right here. Within, a month of submitting my application, and after I got accepted, I got about 7 other interviews to other schools, and the first 2 years I didn't get one interview. So I think a lot of it is um, because I applied early and I applied as soon as I could. Now another thing that PT-CAS has is that they didn't have, I think, the first 2 years I applied, is they have statistics on the percent of students that schools accept that are in-state versus out-of-state. So definitely look at those statistics. If you're going to be applying out-of-state, make sure you apply to schools that don't have 90+% acceptance for in-state students only, because a lot of schools only accept in-state students, or they have very high in-state student acceptance rates. So that's another important thing to look at. And that's really all I have. Um, Everything else is sort of self-explanatory. Do the best you can, and with your GPA, GRE scores, get your volunteer experience. But I think if you do these two things, that will greatly enhance your chances of getting accepted into PT school. So that's it. Good luck.